Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another game of interplanetary ice spy going on here, back on Mars, back to Gale Crater yet again. And we have this image here, taken a couple of years back now, of the Dingo Gap area, PIA 17944. Okay, now if you've got a mobile device, I suggest the JPEG because the TIFF image is quite large, it's just under 50 meg. So, but the JPEG's really good, so either way is good. And there's also this version of it here, which hasn't been color corrected, or doesn't have that puke filter, the orange filter they put on everything. Okay, so it's a lot clearer and looks a lot more natural, and you can see a lot more detail in there. So yes, here we go. So I have it here in a folder. I've already taken some clips of it here, and this image was actually sent in by this clip here. Sent in by Charles Myers, one of my subscribers, stroke researchers from around the world. I do get sent in hundreds and hundreds of things from all over the world by people, links and images. If you do send stuff in, please make sure you have a link to the original page where you got the image from, okay? Rather than sending large images or even videos, some people send in video clips, and my email will not support anything more than a couple of megabytes. So it's no good sending me big clips of video or massive images. Send me either a clip or the original link would be better to the page. Okay, so but thanks for to Charles Myers for this one. This was a cool one, and here's the JPEG. So as you can see, the JPEG's really quite good quality. Okay, it hasn't been badly compressed like the mass cam images normally are, and a lot of the rover images is actually really quite clear. And you have this fake sand here. Now I have done videos about this, so will be a link at the end of the video about this here. This perfectly ruler straight piece of sand, completely fake. There's something hidden under here that they didn't want us to see, and they put this sand in probably to cover it up. So there's probably part of a building or something here, just here. And you can see that this sand doesn't match up, and it looks really, really badly done. And this is so straight at the top here. I have done videos about this, so check out the links at the end of the video, and if you want more on that, you can check those out. Okay. And the little clip you sent me was this part here. Okay, just here. Now this is right near some other statues at the Dingo Gap area, so it didn't surprise me that there was one here, but I didn't see it myself. So thanks to Charles Myers for sending this in again, and let me get on with it. Here's the clip. Okay, I've just cropped it a bit smaller, or larger I should say, closer, brightened it up. Now this has already been enhanced by NASA. Okay, they've already color corrected this image, so you don't really have to do anything to it apart from brighten it or change the contrast maybe a little bit. Okay, and you have here what looks like a statue head that's broken, and you have an eye here. You've got an eye here which is a bit vague, but it's there. You've got a weird sort of ear structure here, and the mouth here with some teeth. Okay, now do bear in mind that this thing has been smashed. Okay, like everything in this area, it's been absolutely smashed into bits. And a lot of the statues I've found, most of them are in fact quite heavily damaged, and they're like missing ears and noses and things like that. But occasionally you get one that isn't as badly damaged, where it's protected by a rock or an overhang or something like that. Unfortunately this one's quite badly damaged, but it does look like a statue, and I'll show you the enhancement of it, because what I've done is darken it, this one here, and I've darkened the contrast here to see the eyes. You can see the eyes here. Okay, pretty spooky looking. Now this looks very similar to some art you might get from Mesoamerica, Olmec or perhaps Toltec or something like that. This is a very, very particular style of carving that's quite primitive to us, but in some ways is quite advanced. You have the nose is broken off here, but you can see the shape of the nose. Okay, and you can see where the nostrils were here. Okay, see those two slots there, nostrils. Okay, but the nose itself probably would have stuck out more, and it's been chipped off. This thing may have tumbled or been thrown up in the air, but it's landed on its right way up by the looks of it, or there may be something buried below it, and this got smashed by something else that flew into it or something. But you can see some pretty good detail here. The mouth is very kind of stylized and square. This is almost like a helmet design, but because I think the nose is broken off here, it's snapped off, it looks more like a helmet, but I'm not sure. But you can see some teeth here. It's pretty badly damaged. A lot of the mouth detail is broken away. But you have this rather strange ear-like structure here, which may not be an ear, but it has a face on it. Here, see? 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and a sort of pointy head, alien-type head, and also almost like a little body here. That's very odd. But this may, if this is a carving, this may have been part of a whole bunch of artwork that was carved into the side of a wall or into a piece of stone, and this is just a fragment of it that's broken off. And there may have been multiple carvings together, i.e. Like a relief carving. This could have been, there could have been a whole row of heads with smaller pieces in between of different, perhaps children or other deities, who knows, gods and whatever else. It's actually a little clearer somehow if you look at it sometimes in negative, like I've done here. I flipped it. I can see the eyes quite clearly, and that nose really stands out now. Okay, that actually looks like a nose. Sometimes you have to do this with these images to get a better feel for them. Well, that was pretty cool, I thought. You know, if you do it, flip it over to negative. But there isn't really a lot of enhancement you can do to this apart from really darken it here and there. You know, but it does look like a statue, and very similar to some you might get from Central America, like this one. Now, this is very, very large. This is probably about 6 foot high or something, and is, or possibly larger, and must weigh many tons. I don't know how many. But if you can imagine this with the nose broken off and the mouth smashed, this part of the statue where it may have been damaged, imagine that, and you might have something similar. There's another piece of Mayan work. Is it Mayan? No, this is Olmec, I think, where you've got the nose missing there, and the details kind of being broken away. Okay, this is common with a lot of these old statues. That you know, they get broken over time, and it's usually the extremities that break off, like the noses and ears. And as an artist myself, I've done sculpture, and I will be doing some 3D renditions of some of these statue finds that I've found recently, especially some of the more clear ones, like I've got in this video here, the Gods of Mars. Now, this is the same area, this one here. This is Gods of Mars, the video the Gods of Mars Part 2 I put out a couple of weeks back, which is doing very well. There's about 26 statues in here. At least 20, I think, of them are pretty clear. Some may not be statues, they may just be weird shadows and tricks of light, but I think most of them are. I'm not too sure about this one, but this one has a beveled piece of architecture right behind it. So even if that isn't a statue, the thing behind it is certainly intelligently made. Absolutely no doubt about that at all. But this is the same area, okay? Now, when we look at this, you've also got another statue here, just here, with an eye. It looks kind of like a helmet almost. But this area here is right next to what the area we're looking at now, okay? And it corresponds to it. That area I just showed you in that previous video, is just here, just off the edge of this, but looking from over here, where the rover came. So it took photos as it came round, and over this bit of sand here, and we saw statues and stuff here, okay? And also further right over to the left here, there's also a buried and ruined building with other statues near it, okay? So this is where a lot of them are, and I do think there was a temple here and some kind of religious buildings of some sort, and probably whole rows of statues, many which have now are probably completely buried, but occasionally we see the heads of these statues sticking up on the ground. and they may have the rest of them buried below, you know. So there we go. I mean, I won't go on too long about this. I've got a load of stuff up here. I was going to do like a really full-length thing on this, but there isn't enough detail to show in this area. This particular image, I mean, there's that one there. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. You've probably seen this, most of you guys out there. When it's mirrored, it really does look like an Olmec kind of head, elongated statue. Okay, let's let it play through. Come on. But there are some others in this video, and I will be doing some 3D models of them very soon, and I'll make a video about it and show you it. There we go. Very interesting, that. Right, let's crack on with it now. Yeah, I do have loads of stuff up here just to show you, and if you want to look, if you want to really check out some of these things, I mean, this, what search, like ancient astronaut, type that in and you'll come up with all sorts of interesting stuff. A lot of the sort of things you would see on Ancient Aliens, which I appeared on. And you've got Olmec heads like this one, and you've got, you know, ancient astronaut type carvings from Central America. This one here of like a little spaceman. These are thousands of years old, these carvings, and they clearly show technology here. And there's some reptilians there. Okay, those are from the Middle East, I think, those carvings. And you have all sorts of interesting things. Some of them look like they're wearing, this is the Dogu little statuette here from Japan. Looks like he's wearing a diving outfit or diving suit. But it could be a space suit. Here's the Lord Pakal here in his flying machine, the Mayan god king. Okay, and there's all these carvings that were found recently in Mexico, which were Mayan, with aliens and spacecraft carved into them. Absolutely amazing they are. Ignore this one here. This appears in many, many videos. This spaceman, that's on the side of a cathedral, which is a modern carving. Okay? It's not ancient alien carving at all. This is modern. You know, this is a part done on a relatively new part of an old building, and was carved in the last 20 or so years, 20 or 30 years. So ignore that completely. That's a red herring. Don't go down that road. It's a dead end. But there's a lot of these things which you may have seen in various Ancient Aliens programs. This is a Olmec statuette with what looks like a kind of flying gear on his back, like wings, like a Rocket Man or like Iron Man or something, you know, flies around. So it looks like the Olmecs were a highly technical race, in at least some of them were. And like some of the ancient Egyptians had high technology, okay? And is it possible that they may have come or visited Mars, may have come from Mars, or visited it in the ancient past? I think it is possible. If they had some kind of high-tech flying machines like are depicted in some of these carvings, then it is possible they went to Mars, or they came from Mars initially to Earth and brought some of the Martian technology to us. It is possible. I'm not saying it's a fact. I can't prove it. There's also my website here, ArtAlien.space. Now this is like my ancient alien library here, and there's loads of stuff on the Mayans stuff here. You go to this page, new Mayan artifacts. Is it going to load? Come on, load up. There's a load of pictures on here, and these are the amazing artifacts that were published only a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and they clearly depict aliens. And these are not modern pieces of art. These are thousands of years old, and date back to the sort of the mid sort of Mayan period. Okay, I mean, some of these are clearly alien. I mean, look at this guy. You can't tell me that that's the sort of guy you would see in the pub or walking down the main road. This is an alien, okay? These are aliens. And there's loads of stuff here. I mean, if you want to check this out, I mean, this guy, this one here is really clear. I mean, look at that. Look at those almond-shaped eyes. Those are not human, okay? And this is where a lot of the ancient alien kind of theories actually spout from. There's, you know, when researchers started going to these places in Central America, like Mexico, and finding strange artifacts and carvings everywhere, they thought, well, there's something very odd going on here. And depictions of high technology like flying machines and flying saucers like this thing. That's a flying saucer with a little alien looking out of it there, okay? Unbelievable. They were often called flying turtles, I think. And they're just so beautiful, these things, and I've always been fascinated by them. And they depict a part of our past that has been largely covered up by the mainstream media and science, you know, and really they don't want us to talk about these things. They don't really want us to know about them. But researchers keep finding them, and they're very good evidence for ancient aliens, and the fact that possibly the ancient Mayans, or Olmecs perhaps, were travelling in space and flying around and getting technology and ideas from other cultures around the world, and perhaps from Mars. Okay, so there we have it. That was it really. I'll put links to a lot of this stuff in it below in the description, and there's this page here, the history of the native peoples of the Americas and the Mesoamerican cultures. Okay, very interesting piece here on Wikibooks, and you can just read this. The most important culture, of course, is the Olmec. They were the sort of father civilization of the area, and were probably the ones that built most of the very, very large pyramids. Okay, and then the Maya were also a very high civilization and built a lot of the later stuff, but highly advanced and amazing stonework. And later you had the Aztec, who were actually the last civilization there that were largely wiped out by the Spanish when they invaded. So very interesting. I'll let you read all that. I'm not going to read all through it now. This will take way too long. Check out my website. New Mayan Artifacts is the one you want to look at. This is just fascinating. These artifacts are beautiful. Most of them are figurines, but a lot of them are plates and cups and things like that, you know, and altarpieces. So there we have it. Check out that. Check out Gods of Mars if you haven't checked it out already. There are about 20, or I think there's 26 statues in this video. Okay, some of them are very clear, some of them aren't. There we go. So there we have it. Let's go back to this again, and I'll show you this again. First I'll show you that. Look at the facial profile, and then look at this. Not the same, and this is much smaller. This is probably only 5 or 6 inches across, possibly less, about 5 inches from here to here. Okay, so I'm just saying it's a similar shape and style, and many of the Mexican art pieces have these sort of stylized teeth and very square mouths for some reason, like they're making a sort of warrior face or grimace. Okay, very interesting indeed. So thanks to Charles Myers for sending that in. That was an interesting one for me, and I will be doing more on Mars statues coming up soon, and you will be seeing 1 or 2 of these done in 3D, made from clay. So keep your eye open for that video, which will be coming up in about a week or so, or less. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.